and welcome back to the Random Horror Show. I am your horror podcast hostess, Keisha Lacey, coming straight out of Don Pine Curtain of East Texas. Thank you for listening and joining me as we are in our fantasy part of our show. And of course, here at the Random Horror Show, where we film, commentate, being silly, random, and off tangent, but we still be on point with horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure in movies, television, and books. Thank you all for my OGs listeners. Thank you for listening to this ride or die train wreck of a podcast. For those who are tuning in and curious about what is about the Random Horror Show, of course, I just explained it. Splendid. But I'm like sitting here thinking, I was like, shout out to like all the podcasts that I have been discovering and have been listening. Um just like amazing, like podcasts and like blogs and things about horror. Some is about like nostalgic TV. Some are a little bit higher up than me with like really great guests. And I really do enjoy them, and I really do listen to like a lot of y'all's podcast. I think like the horror community and that are and other people that are in like kind of like in that realm of that horror community or like fantasy or whatever um have been really great. And also, people, if y'all would like to hang out, it's called a horror hangout. It is hosted by Action Movie Club, a Swedish horror nerd, and also First Class Horror. You can look it up on First Class Horror on YouTube. It's called Horror Hangout, where you meet the host of like their podcast and their blogs and everything, and we all join in and we be litty lit like that. We be setting it on fire, just talking about in and everything. It's basically it's like a watch party of like movies that they pick, or you can give suggestions for them to like watch. It's on Tuesdays. It's 4 o'clock Central Time. You can go and check out First Class Horror. You can also check out Action Book Movie Club, which is on Instagram. You can check out their LinkedIn profiles. Not LinkedIn profiles, Linktree. LinkedIn, Linktree, bling bling, ling-a-ling, ding-a-ling, and all that and everything. You can go check those out. Real cool guys and everything. Very, very friendly. They're like pretty awesome and stuff. Keep you in stitches. They keep me in stitches, especially a Swedish horror nerd. Oh my god. He is hilarious as hell. Oh, I know I had to spit out my coffee water. And he's a funny, hilarious guy. He really is. But tonight's podcast, and I don't know if y'all have been like really paying attention, or y'all just like, I don't know, with all the like the Batman hype and stuff like that. My daughter went to go see it, and I asked her, is it Edward Cullen or Cedric Diggory that Robert Pattinson is channeling? She said it's more of Edward Cullen. I said, well, that's fitting for him, because he played a sparkly ass vampire on the Twilight franchise. And oh my god, those movies are so hilarious. I don't know how people just like thought that was just pure love and things like that, but I was just like, this is so silly. This is a silly movie. Try to read the books. The books are just silly to me. And there's some young adult books that I like, Harry Potter series, Ender's Game, all of that. I like those and stuff, but like I could not get into Twilight. Now the Host, from Stephanie Myers, I literally like that movie and I like the book too. But that's the only thing that I like about Stephanie Myers is the Host, and that's it. Um, interesting. She has very interesting relationships with some of those characters. I got to say about that, but okay. But that's what she writes. She made her bukus and millions of dollars and everything. There it is. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, damn, I wish I could like write book. I could write, but I was like, my ADD. I hate my ADD so badly. I do. I'm so ashamed of having ADD myself, and it's not something that I really just like to talk about because it's just I don't know. It's to me it's like it's crippling to me. I think my ADD is very crippling to me, and I'm very ashamed of it. And I'm admitting it. I'm ashamed of it. I really am, and it's not something that I like about it. I really don't. It's one of those. It's something that's like a part of me that I'm just not really um I don't embrace. I really don't. I don't embrace the shit. I fucking don't. But like I said, if y'all been sleeping up under a rock or up under a car, well, some of y'all don't want to travel in the car because of these goddamn gas prices. And I'm going to tell you about The Legend of Vox Machina. Now, Legend of Vox Machina, you can catch it on Amazon Prime. It is a animated series, and I didn't know like this was. I mean, it's like based, like really like in the core of like Dungeons and Dragons, and Dungeons and Dragons was like huge when I was growing up in the 80s and stuff like that. And then they came out with the animated cartoon that I watched on CBS as a little girl of Dungeons and Dragons, and I was just like, and like the whole story with Dungeons and Dragons, you had like the friends that go on this carnival ride, and they go into this different parallel universe, and it's all they get like these special powers. They get special powers. You know what I'm saying? And Dungeon Master with his little short ass and everything showing up, just popping up and everything. And like the villain of it, Cringer, man, is that his name? Cringer. I can't remember the motherfucker with the one ass horn coming out of his head and everything. I liked him and shit. He was like scary though, but I liked his ass and everything. He's like right up there with Skeletor. I love me some Skeletor like a motherfucker though. I mean, I like He-Man and stuff, but it was just Skeletor who like made that damn show. And Evil Lyn, like I like Evil Lyn. Evil Lyn was crazy, and the Sorceress too. But this is like based on the core of like Dungeons and Dragons, and it started off with a group called Critical Role. And so they did like these characters that they played on and things like that, and it got very very popular. And so when Amazon came to them and said like, hey, let's make this into an animated series, they're like, hell yeah, let's do it right there. Let's do that. Now it does have like more characters to Legend of Ex Machina, but there is like they just left them out and everything. But I do like the first season of the Legend of Vox Machina. Now, like, this is like a time of magic and sorcery and things like that. And we are having like characters, like the band of characters. These characters are not like the typical, like when you watch Lord of the Rings and shit like that. They have bravery and valor and all that stuff. Nah, this is like shit. These just like some regular ass peoples and stuff and everything. They do jobs, but they're like more like slide on. They hustlers and stuff. These are like some hustling ass fools. They hustle. They're not all about the valor. They're not about the honor. They're not about that. They all about drinking, having sex, getting fucked up, doing it again, doing some odd ass end jobs and shit, and like, yeah, we Vox Machina, we fuck up shit, whatever, and they get paid, and then they go at it again, get fucked up, have a lot of sex, do it all over again. These are like remind me of like a bunch of frat boys. They was doing good shit, for the people, but they're just not doing it for the they're not doing it just for, to be grateful and everything, to have gratitude, what they when they help people. It's just more about money, 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 money. Well, the kingdom, they have like some issues and shit. So like it's like this evil, it's like a big ass dragon, and they were like, yeah, we got like all the best of the best, like on each, parts of land, like some Lord of the Rings shit. Well, they got their butt destroyed. And I like the intro of it. I like the intro. I like how they started it off, because you would think like, oh man, this is the best of the best. They're facing the evil, that's coming, and they got their butt tore up and everything. I was just like, oh snap, that's kind of funny right there. So they're looking for these people of, they call themselves Vox Machina, and you have Keyleth. Keyleth is a kind of like a wood elf sort of type. She has magical powers, and she studies like in this little institute of like her elf people and shit like that. Um, these are like I said, these are like underdogs, underachievers and shit like that. And you could tell like she does like have a confidence problem with her. I like how all of the characters like has like all of these flaws and stuff that you wouldn't think like, oh, we trust them, because they look like shit. They don't look like they didn't need to be trusted. They don't look like they need to be saving my cat out of a tree. And then you have Pike. I love Pike. Pike is like this imp, and she has this, like she's a healer. I think that's like the reason why I like Pike and stuff, cause she's a healer and everything. So like I kind of like I'm feeling that right there. But like Keyleth or Kiki, and I'm just like, oh, they call her Kiki. Kiki, do you love? Cause like people call me Kiki also. And but I like Pike. She's an imp and she's a healer. She also has a friend named Grog, and Grog is like this kind of like look like a half human giant, and she like perches on his shoulder, and they're like the best of friends. Grog is not like kind of like who's like the character like off of Guardians of the Galaxy, the one that wrestler guy like portrays. He has like a look like that, and he's like, we don't understand, and this is stupid, and everything. But he's like really great for teams, he's like the brute force of the team and everything. And it kind of reminds me when like he places Pike on his shoulder, and y'all like remember on Bleach, whenever Rukia, she had to go back to the Soul Society, and Ichigo and like and his friends and shit, they had to like go rescue Rukia before she got executed. And you remember like the old home dude and shit? I think he was like from not the 10th or the 8th, but he was like higher than that. And he had that little old girl like perched up on his shoulder and shit with that little hair. And she like, hey, giving him like all kind of ideas and stuff. And he had like the like spiky hair and stuff. That's how it remind me of. I used to watch a lot of Bleach. You also have a brother and sister team, Vexhala and Vaxhallen. Their brother and sister, and their backstory is that their village was destroyed, and so they were like the only survivors. They're elves too, and so they're like, like we're gonna seek revenge on the people who like destroyed our village, and they're the only ones that's left of that village. You also have Percy DeRollo. Percy DeRollo is an interesting character. He just like so reminds me of like all like you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of the dude off of Bleach that's a Quincy. And if y'all like very familiar with Bleach, you know you have the Soul Reapers and you have the Quincy's and shit. And like he like the old home dude who hated Ichigo and the Soul Society and stuff because like Quincy's and the Soul Reapers like always like had like beef with each other. Well, he's like the only Quincy. Like Percy DiRollo, he's like the only one. The DiRollos were slaughtered by like these people that were like into like a lot of black magic. And you know, which each episode you will see like why like Percy like swears revenge on his family, and he's like part of a royalty also. He also has like a gun and he has his mask. Since he was like all in this pent up rage, you know, he escaped, you know, from the people that murdered his family. You know, he survived. He just created this demon for himself, and really an actual demon, like seeing like, oh, you know, he got all this shit going on, all this shitty ass bad evil vengeance energy that he has, and so he possessed him. And so his like, you know, weapon of choice is a gun. Is he forged his gun because he forged it within in that revenge, you know, mode. And every name that pops on this gun, that's the name that he's going to kill. He also wears this mask to mask his anger and his rage. You also have one of my favorites, Scandalin Shorthaul. Scandalin Shorthaul. I'm sorry, but he's an imp. He is quite sexy for an animated character. Like he is. Y'all get what I'm saying? He is like height level to my waist, and he's very extremely promiscuous. He's a minstrel, but like he has like a lot of powers like within his guitar, and he sings these little badass ballads about themselves and like what they did and what they do. He also sings about other crazy shit and everything. He also has these powers that like whenever he strums or sings, you know, the powers that he has, you know, helps out the whole team. Was wondering if I like missed anybody that is the characters of Ex Machina, but they're on a quest. It's a lot. I like it because like it doesn't just show just like, oh, we have to like go and fight. You know, like the typical heroes going out there to like fight, you know, the battles of like the evil and things like that. I mean, they literally fuck up all the time in this show. But it's so funny that they fuck up all the time. But it also brings them a lot closer. You see, like, you know, them getting scared about things. You see them how they react, you know, when in certain situations. You know, there's like few episodes when it was getting to the end, especially dealing with Percy's past, that it pulled a lot of strength in like two of the characters, which is Keyleth and Pike. And Keyleth and Pike do have like that healing magic, but Keyleth didn't know she had a lot that was in her that she had to pull out. Pike on the other end, she Everlight that she trusts and everything that gives her the light to heal and help out the team. You know, it's like she kind of lost her way because she lost her, you know, she lost the ability within herself to believe in herself. And so even though there was like on the quest to like help Percy because there were some things that happened in the kingdom that this couple like came in. I forgot their darn names. Anyways, I think it's Stonefeld or something like that. Lady and Lord Stonefeld or whatever. They took over and shit, like over Percy's family home and their lands and everything, and pretty much just brought a lot of dark magic. I mean, it was like very deplorable how they was running it. You had like a faction of the townspeople that survived were planning like this revenge against like the lord and the lady that took over by force. They have also convinced some of the royal servants and their assorts and everything like that worked for the Durolos to like be on their side, and that was like the downfall of the Durolos. And but like with Pike, she couldn't be with them. She had to do astral projection to like help them out. There's also like a budding romance between Keeley and Vax because he really does like Keeley. He believes in Keeley and everything, but Vex Hall and his sister was kind of like, nah, we're into this together. We don't need no distractions. She's like all, she's like, I think she's a big sister, but she's all like that. And I would tell you this, I have a brother too. He's like 13 months apart from me. And I'm like, shit, go for that girl. But don't break her heart though, because, you know better. I be like that with my brother and everything, but like I wouldn't be all like tripping and shit. I'm gonna be caring like who my brother be dating. As long as she treat him well, they treat each other well. I'm cool with that. I can't be all like that's just shady shit. But really, Vex is really afraid of losing her brother because she feels that like the more interested he's with Keyleth, and she feels that he will forget like what's his whole purpose of both of them trying to find the people that destroyed their village and everything. But yeah, shit hits the fan when they whole purpose changes when they went to a village. There's like a dragon, and Vex is actually, she can feel this dragon power. And the dragon like comes in and like destroys this whole village. She felt that same energy at the kingdom when the king was like employing all of them to go and destroy the danger that was like in this whole world. And she felt that, so she has like a little bit of an extra power within her that she can sense like this dragon. And it was like one of the counselor that was like counseling the king. And she felt that, she just didn't know who it was, but she felt that, and she felt that same energy whenever they got attacked by the dragon near the village where they before hand when they started attacking. It was a little boy, like Varks. Did I say Vax Barks? Vex Marks. Marks the Smart. Vax. He like went and gave like this little boy a little shiny little nickel and everything, but the dragon like destroyed their the village, and they went back, and the little boy, he was injured really badly. His family was dead, and that's when Vex and Vax, there was like, what, I'm already in this, because this is the same thing that happened to us when we were kids, and we survived this, and everybody that we love is dead. And that would, and to me, it's like a growing, learning thing with like all of the characters of Vox Machina, because it's pieces of them that they may have forgotten, or they're trying to not remember or block, that was so painful and so tragic. They don't want to be reminded of that. But then when they start seeing like how real it is, there's like, well, this is the real last deal. Oh yeah, they still fuck up though. They still fuck up. But you know what? They make up for it. And I like how the show is, because it's not like, like how you watch the Avengers and oh, blah, and all that, and like, oh, they're gonna save the blah, 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 blah. We gotta get Loki, gotta get the, what's that stupid blue box called, yeah, I'll smoke some weed, some bomb ass weed today, and it knocked me off my feet. It's that fucking Kush and shit. So y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know exactly what I'm. Y'all know which one. What I'm talking about. That they were like trying to get as blue. But anyways, y'all get what I'm saying. But it's not like how what we see like with hero movies, and they always like, "This is gonna be a next time. We gotta work all together. We gotta, and then they're like, they're like in cahoots with each other because they can't come up with a solution and stuff. They can, these like characters right here, they can be in cahoots with each other during the action, and they will like try so many things to like make sure that it goes very well. And sometimes it doesn't go very well for them because of like, damn, and I like how they put that real life as like type of situation, like what us like real people be dealing with if we like do something with with this situation, it doesn't pan out, and then we're just like freaking the fuck out. They freak the fuck out too. I just love it. I just really, really love it. I like to see stuff like that. I don't like, I mean, I like the Marvel hero, bleh, all that stuff, but I'm more of like a realist, like of what like real people do in situations like this. It's not, this is not a manufactured, hero save the day, everybody jump in the air and they stop, that stop camera and like jumping up type of shit. It's nothing like that. I love the dirty jokes in this. I love it that they cuss because I'm a cusser too, and they're just so relentless like how they are and how they behave. I love the scene where they were meeting everybody, the rules of the kingdom that came to the kingdom that employed them, and they were trying to act diplomatic and everything, and they was still acting like they were still in a damn bar. And that was so funny. It was like embarrassing at the same time, and I couldn't do nothing but laugh. And it was just really, really like there was like this. That part was just so sweet because think about it. They're trying to teach him how to be diplomatic in diplomatic situations, especially you having all of these royals that's coming to like have this dinner and discuss of how they're gonna get rid of this evil and and fight for their lands, and they're sitting there acting an ass and just being rude and ill mannered, and Scanlan is he's singing all his little sexual innuendo songs throughout the whole party. I mean, it is supposed to be like they're supposed to be serious, but they're that's their seriousness. That's their serious level. But the serious level got turned up really, really way up is when Percy had to make that trek back to his royal like lands to like claim his kingdom, to get revenge on his parents, and he thought that his sister was dead, but she isn't. They have her under their spell. She survived. It was like really, really like painful for Percy to like see how the land and the place where he once grew up and loved turned into like ash and smoke and overrun by zombies and giants, and you have like a whole townspeople that was left in there hiding because they don't want to get hurt, and he was like, I gotta be there for my people, and he was, and I'm glad that Percy went back to face that, for himself. And he found out a lot of things, what was going on. And he had to conquer his own fears in the process when he went back there. And of course, with Pike, I like that Pike, she did go to the temple. You know, she was just trying to find answers for herself because there was like a scuffle in the courtyard, and Everlight, you know, the where she have was gone because of the black dark magic was very powerful for Everlight, and she felt like that she had to depend on Everlight so much. But Everlight was like teaching her like, yo, you need to depend on yourself because you're a powerful person too. You know, even though you small in size, you know, you know how us little folks are. We pack a punch, we pack power. Just because our height, we down to the ground like hobbits and ants and like toddlers and shit. We still have that power and everything. So don't play with us short folks. But I like how we could see that character development with like all of the characters of Vox Machina. And I know, please let there be like a second season of like Vox Machina. I mean, it is like a really good, animation like show, and they're like about 30, 40 some minutes, and it was so funny because like one time my son was watching it, and Percy Percy had a chance to really do some damage. And my son got upset with Percy. Now that's what I like about that. Like if you have a teenager's like, dude, why did you do it? How come you couldn't do that? And he was just getting all upset at Percy. And I was like, that is really cool. My son, he has a short attention span himself. He doesn't watch a lot of TV. He doesn't watch a lot of movies either. But him just engaging in the show, and he's watching, what was going on, and he can like, he's keeping up with the whole storyline, and he's just getting upset at Percy because Percy didn't pull the trigger. And he was just like livid, and he was just cussing Percy. I'm like, calm down, bro. I'm like, calm down, son. It's okay. He's like, but still, he still had a chance. I was just cracking up laughing at my son. And that's like really good, especially like how technology is and like how these teenagers are. Oh my goodness. But for them to like actually pay attention to like a fantasy anime show with great writing, the scenes are, the animation is really, really awesome. The transitions from like story to story where you're not getting confused is very, very important. I liked how, you still have that expansion of like each character, all their flaws, all their, faults and things like that. And you still like love these characters and you still like them because, to you, you're like, oh, it's a cartoon, it's, elves, magic, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But you can like, but you have like a connection and stuff because it feels like, damn, this is like, if you put yourself in that situation, you're like, damn, this is kind of like some of me and my group of friends like back in the day, how we used to act a fool and everything else. You could actually see parts of yourself in these characters that like maybe like once upon a time you may feel like you were scandaling, dicking everybody down or something, or you may feel like, keyleth and everything, being scared of like who you really are, or maybe you feel like Pike, you codependent on something so much and everything that you like lose sight of yourself. And then you have Grog. Grog, people think Grog is so stupid, and because he speaks in short ass sentences and fragments and shit. But Grog is actually have a big, huge heart, and he will like he's like a ride or die. I mean, he like goes very hard for his friends, and he puts himself in the position. it doesn't matter if it's life or death. He's gonna make sure that he protects his friends and make sure they're not hurt. He's very, very loyal. Despite that all of them are like, different, have different powers and different strengths and weaknesses and things like that. They all have like very, like wonderful qualities about themselves too. And I that's the reason why I like this damn little show and shit. I like this series. Like, I'm so glad that Critical Role really did have them the green light for the Legend of Vox Machina to be put on, on Amazon and for everybody to enjoy. And I definitely, this right here is like the shit. It really is. It really is the shit. And with each episode, it didn't let me down. It didn't feel like a lot of things were like lagging, or they feel like they short-handed you, or they just like, let's go hurry up with this and everything just to like speed up the plot. Um, every like every episode is like, it's not short, but it's sweet. It's to the point. It gives you enough to where you can grasp. It gives you enough to like easily to follow and still enjoy like all the laughs, all the craziness with it, but also like be like down because they're in danger a lot. They have like all these different type of situations. You like feel that from all of them, and it's like you totally understand like all of these characters, and they are very, very wonderful characters, uh, to put it in my perspective and everything. But that is enough of the show, and thank you for listening to the Random Horror Show. The Legend of Ex Machina. It is playing now on Amazon Prime. You can catch them episodes and everything. I think it's about like 11 or 12 of them, episodes. They're like run about like 30 to 40 minutes. Some of them are an hour and everything. It really grabs your attention. It keeps your attention all through it. I mean, I was just like, when's the next episode? When's the next episode? I was like that with this show. I mean, gee whiz. Like, I mean, I really, really am impressed with this show. I really, really am. And it's an adult show. I can't wait to see when Invincible is coming back, cuz I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm on the edge of my seat when Invincible is coming back on. And I like Invincible, but I'm like, y'all need to hurry up with the program. Like, if Invincible comes back in April, that's great. If it's going to be later on in the damn year and stuff, I don't know. I have no clue. But I cannot wait for Invincible to come back on with the second season, because there is a lot of things that needs to be explained, and I'm very, very curious of what's gonna happen with Mark, especially with his dad, going back to Viltrum. Shit, the destruction of like the possible destruction of Earth, and being, for them to be enslaved. I mean, even with Mark, still teeter-tottering about his dad, that he loves him so much, but dad is just doing some hood rat ass shit, from being Viltrum and everything. And and that's really tough on Mark. It really is. It's really tough on Mark to be half human and half Viltrum. That's damn. And that's your and you're a senior too. You're about to graduate. God dog. That's crazy right there. It's crazy as hell. But alright then. Y'all have like a wonderful night, morning, noon, whatever. My birthday's coming up this Sunday. Oh my gosh. If y'all want to send me a birthday wishes, donations, anything else, I have a link tree. I'm going to be linking that up in my profile on my Instagram. You can follow me at Texas Horror Babe on Instagram. Also, you can follow me on The Random Horror Show on Facebook. And y'all have a wonderful, and thank you for listening to the Random Horror Show.